And now back to men's basketball, again here on the Rockville campus. When I think of this season, a centuries-old quote by Thomas Paine comes to mind. These are the times that try men's souls. That quotation is an appropriate way to begin our look at the Rockville men's basketball team. Because for good parts of this season, it was indeed a trying time for head coach Steve Hobson and his longtime assistant Junior Blackman. They had the youngest team I can recall them having. And with youth comes inexperience, and along with that, all sorts of other challenges. Here's how one of the craziest Rockville seasons ever turned out. The youngest Rockville team in memory had just 2 sophomores, and one of them, Captain Darren Sheffield, missed much of the season with a broken arm.
It's difficult for this team because it had a lot of guys that, first year into college, all of them are freshmen pretty much. And they've never really been in a situation in a college atmosphere, playing on a college basketball team. And to do all the things that go along with that, where in high school you can come in, practice, go to the game, you shoot the ball, no big deal. If you don't play defense, a lot of times it's not that big of a deal. Where in college, you harp on that.
So youth was this season's reality. When you have such an inexperienced roster, it takes time, effort, and patience to teach the freshmen that it's best to rid themselves of that high school mentality.
We have to be an unselfish basketball team. It goes back to what I alluded to earlier about the guys, learning how to be a basketball team, getting rid of the high school mode because you're not the man particularly, and everybody has to touch the ball. And that's the way college basketball is played. And I think for us, we have to become that team.
And adding to the growing pains, the coaches started the season with 18 players on the roster, but that number soon dwindled.
They have 18 guys, they're all freshmen and, 90s babies. We're into that 90s, those 90s kids, and they're a totally different breed. It's not the same. They're not used to, getting up early in the morning and going through the grunt and the grind that, I had to go through, just getting out and going for it every day. They're not used to that. And, a lot of them, they didn't want to do it. And it had nothing to do with grades. They're good kids. Academically, they were all strong. It was just they got into something that they didn't know what they were getting into.
And the players also acknowledge that this year has been a step-by-step learning experience.
It's some good days, some good times and bad times, but other than that, I think we're trying to make progress now. First, at the beginning, it was kind of rough on us. It was a couple of things. It was, adapting to Coach Hobson. Then us playing as a team. A lot of us are freshmen, so this is our first time, really out here.
We're doing pretty good. We can be doing a lot better. It's been an up and down season so far.
And yet another factor in the learning process for the players, learning how to play for a college head coach.
It's a very a good stepping stone because he hops on us on every small little thing. But in the end, he always wants us to get better, because our potential is much greater than what we expect.
He's a good guy. I like the offense that we run. Everybody get to touch the ball, get involved and everything. He's a good coach. Sometimes he can be real tough, and then sometimes he can be okay.
Yet another major reason for this season of ups and downs was that head coach Steve Hobson and his staff realized as the season wore on that for this team to be successful, the coaches had to completely change the team's offensive and defensive style of play.
We would obviously like to score in the 90s, no doubt about it. I love a fast-paced game, and we want to press for 40 minutes. But as a coach, you have to take a look at your personnel and see what you can do. Last night, it's the first time in the history of my coaching career I played zone the whole game. I'm not a zone guy, but it seems to work with these kids. The other thing that works with these kids is the more we pass the ball, the better opportunities we've had to score. So, as a head coach, you really got to evaluate what you got, how you can win, and we're still tinkering with it.
But despite all the challenges, the team had ample strengths and they put them to good use.
One thing about this team is we're not big, but yet we have never really been out-rebounded. We don't turn the ball over a lot.
Come out every night, put it all out on the line. You know, they've kept us in some games, you know, this year. We're not that far away as a team, I don't think.
And even as head coach Steve Hobson runs through some of the key players on his young roster, the mantra of the pluses and minuses of youth is a necessary part of the dialogue.
Byron Herndon is from the Eastern Shore, outstanding shooter, is learning the game. Arrington Fleming, basically a hard-nosed hustling guy. For his size, does an outstanding job rebounding, likes to penetrate, likes to draw body contact. We're working on his outside game. Antoine Brown is probably our most consistent player. Wasn't asked to score in high school. He's asked to put the numbers on the board for us this year and has done that. Kamal Terrell is by far our go-to guy when it comes to three-point shots, penetration, setting the defense. Dexter Batts has probably developed each week, and I've asked him to do some things that he's not used to doing. He was a role player in high school. He's one of my main guys here.
And as if channeling their head coach, the players also see the same mixed bag.
I think we need to try to play hard for 40 minutes because we always get a letdown, like you play one half and don't play the next half. You know what I'm saying? Just playing together, we gelling more. We feel confident of what we're doing with the running Coach Hobson plays.
We need to do a little bit more bonding because, like, sometimes you can see on the court, sometimes we have a little bit of individuality on the court, you know. But I guess once we all gel, like in certain games, and we stop playing down to our competition, we'll be a much better team.
And as the learning process continued, they did become a better team. Just before the postseason, they gave Cecil, the undefeated and #1 ranked team in Maryland JUCO, all they wanted and more.
To be honest with you, I think it probably was the best game we played all year. We fell behind by 20 points, and it seemed like a light went off in their heads. It said, look, we can't continue to play this way. You know, they're going to kill us. You know, they're bigger, they're stronger, they're more athletic. And they responded, and they, you know, it stayed at 5, got back to within 5 points, and it stayed that way all the rest of the game. So it was a great game, and I think it was good for us as a measuring stick, playing somebody of their caliber. You know, we lost by 10, you know, which could have been 40 or 50, you know, and I think what the guys did, them pulled together, you know, went through a little adversity, but they weathered the storm.
But even after a game like that, one that can help a team mature, they continued the inconsistent play one would expect from a team so young. In the postseason, they played well in round 1 of the Region 20 tournament and won big by 28. But then they lost in the second round to Anne Arundel. But their season-long inconsistency should not obscure the concrete positives. The Knights finished over 500 and 6th in the 17-team Tougher by the Year Maryland JUCO. And in the individual Maryland JUCO stats, Antoine Brown impressed at point guard and finished 6th in Maryland JUCO field goal percentage at 58.9%. Arrington Fleming was 9th in field goal percentage at 58.7%. Byron Herndon was 3rd in three-point shooting percentage at 46.1%, and Kamal Terrell was 5th in free throw percentage at 80.9%. And with an off-season program in place to continue the learning experience to be taught by Professors Hobson and Blackman, plus a solid, experienced core of players coming back next season, a return to the Nationals next year, which would be Hobson's 13th trip, would surprise very few. That's all the time we have for today on our special on-the-road version of The Locker Room. And one final note, if you're interested in playing a sport here at Montgomery College, or if you'd just like to come to a game, visit our website at montgomerycollege.edu and click on Athletics and Intramural Sports on the homepage. And join us again soon for another all-new edition of The Locker Room. Thanks for watching, everybody.